Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This is not going to be a Dragunov guide, this is going to be the first episode of a series of videos that I want to make, where I want to talk about different characters, and I just want to show you what are my opinions on those characters, whether or not I think they're strong or weak, and just show you in details, how these characters operate. Our first character is going to be Bryan, which I consider to be one of the best characters in the game. If you watched my gameplays, you probably know that I hold this character in a very high regard. I think he's one of the best characters in the game, and I wanted to show you why. So let's jump immediately into the game. Of course, as you can see, I am on the left side of the screen, but the health bar is on the right side because I swapped positions. I did that so that you can see the command history. Otherwise, it would be covered by my webcam. So this is the reason why you see the health bar on the other side. So, but let's start immediately by saying that I would say that Bryan is a character that I wouldn't put him on the same level as Jin in terms of being all-round, but he is really one of the most all-round characters in the game. The only thing he really lacks is evasion, but he has almost every single tool you will ever need in this game, really, and I really want to show you. Let's start with keep outs. As you probably already know, as his main keep out is neutral orbital. This is an extremely strong attack. It's one of the best keep out tools in the game. It's a natural hit launcher that deals 1,000,000 damage. It recovers very quickly on whiff, and it's also safe on block. So this is one of the best keep out tools in the game. But let's say you need something faster. Sometimes the opponent is charging towards you and you need something quick. Most characters, they would use a down for 2 or a hop kick. Bryan, unfortunately, is not a character with a generic down for 2 or a hop kick, but still he has his forward 3, which is only 1 frame slower than a regular down for 2 or a regular hop kick, although there are some characters with 16 frames down for 2s. I think Zafina is one of them. So he still has this, 16 frames, counter launcher, safe on block. If you need something faster, if the opponent is charging towards you, you need something faster than a neutral orbital, yeah, you have forward 3, which is really good. And another important aspect that it's very uncommon, it's exclusive to a couple of characters in this game, but Bryan is definitely one of them. He has a 12 frames counter launcher from wall standing. So his wall standing 3 is a 12 frames mid that will launch if you hit the opponent on counter it. And now this is extremely useful if you are tech rolling on the ground. Let's say the opponent knocks you on your ass. You're tech rolling and you can immediately, a typical response could be stand up into a while standing attack, right? And this is actually really good because you can stand up into a 12 frames counter it launcher, which is only -10 on block, although it also has an extension. So, which is also -10, so you never know if you can take the punch or not. So this is actually very good. You tech roll and you throw a 12 frames counter launcher. You don't know how many times I got clipped by this with Dragunov. You just try to pressure Bryan, he tech rolls into an immediate 12 frames counter launcher and I get launched. This is actually very good, and it's a little bit underrated. Because not a lot of characters have a move like this, but this is actually very good on wake up. But then, like I said, his evasion is pretty bad. That's probably the only thing he really lacks. He doesn't have evasive stances. He doesn't have crazy backswing blows. He has a generic parry. Or this is not a generic parry. This is a punch parry. But it's definitely nothing spectacular. As you can see, it is decent. It is decent, but it's definitely nothing spectacular. So in terms of evasion or deflection, stuff like parries, is definitely not the guy. But that's really the only thing he lacks. That's really the only thing he lacks. If we already want to start to talk about counter tools, fast counter tools, he has 1-2-1. Which is completely safe on block. The last hit, it's -6 on block. Well, as you can see, -6. So this is not unsafe to throw out. And he also has 1-2-4, which is a heat engager. So he has these two moves. He also has a mid, which is down 2. He has down 2-3, which is a counter string. 41 damage. It's also very easy to Twitch confirm at the very least. You have a lot of time to input the second hit. As you can see, I can delay quite a lot. You see? I can delay quite a lot. So you can very easily confirm the counter hit, especially if you take a look at the red spark. That's for counter tools. Now let's talk about, for example, something like whiff punishments. As a main whiff punisher, he has forward for 1. That will give you this Tekken 6 style of bound. So you can still bound afterwards. This is a very old animation that is still in the game. This is the Tekken 6 bound, but you can do a full combo out of this. It has good range, as you can see, pretty good range. -13 on block, forces crouch on block, so the opponent has to use a 13 frames while standing move. It's pretty good. It has pretty good range. Not a lot of characters have a move with such range as a main whiff punisher. And then if we want to talk about, for example, neutral tools. For example, he very recently received an electric. This is his electric. +5 on block chips, as you can see. And if this lands on counter hit, it will give you a bound combo, which is really good. Then he has a demon pop, quarter circle forward 1+2, that has very good reach. Very good reach. Look at this. You see the range? You see the range? You see the range? Yeah, it has very good range. And then he has again 3+4, which is a super long range mid that is also a counter launcher. And it's completely safe on block. The game says -13, but no one can punish this. So this really reminds me of Jin a little bit. It reminds me of the combination of electric, demon paw, forward 4. This really reminds me of that. Electric, demon paw, and forward 4. It's basically a very similar type of attack. Long range, mid, counter launcher, safe on block. And then we're gonna talk about approach tools. He has one of the best approach tools in the game in back 1. As you can see, very long reach. Very long reach. +4 on block. And only 20 frames in startup. Very fast. This is as fast as a perfect running 2. And by perfect running 2, I mean when you can mask the first part of the animation during the recovery of an attack. If you do it out in the open, no running 2 is gonna be as fast as this back one. So this is extremely fast. He has really good reach. +4, counter launcher. Boom, counter launcher. It's really good. So he mainly has this as approach tool, very long reach. Then we're gonna talk about pokes. Yes, classic standing jab, classic jab string, 1-2. But he also has as I showed you, he has a mid extension from his jab string. This mid extension not only is completely safe, like I explained to you, if you want to throw it as a counter tool, this is actually a counter it launcher. If this move lands on counter it, you get launched. And it can be delayed. You see there? It can be delayed. So at any point, Bryan can add this mid extension to try and fish for a counter it. And he is completely safe in doing this. He's only at -6. So this is insanely strong. You never know if you can take your turn or not. And that's very a theme with Bryan. You never know if you're allowed to press buttons or not. Same goes with his 13 frames mid-check in down for 2. This is a bit, this is very downplayed as a 13 frames mid-check. This is, first off, notice that this is an elbow, which means that it cannot be parried by generic parries, which is already pretty good. It has very good range, as you can see. It doesn't look like it has a lot of reach, but it actually has decent reach, as you can see. See this? I think it has almost as much reach as Dragunov's down forward 1. And on top of that, he has a mid extension, which of course, it's a counter launcher, and it's also very hard to punish on block. It has a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. And a lot of times I try to punish this and my 4-1 with Dragunov whiffed. Or my 2-1 with Dragunov whiffed. And then he also has a mid-high extension that can be cancelled into back sway, into other attacks, into other types of mix-ups, as you can see. Then, as low pokes, we could mention down back 3, which is a quite evasive low poke. Now you might laugh at this, but considering most generic down 4s are now launch punishable, this is actually very good. Because this is still -12. I'm gonna show you. Block all. Oh, it's still -12. This is -12. Considering most generic lows are like this, down 4s are launch punishable now, and generally -4, as you can see, -4, -3. This is pretty decent. This is actually only -1. And it's -12 on block. And has some evasion. And then he also has down 4, which is his go-to low poke. It's neutral on a hit with pushback, but this is actually very safe at -11. So this is not even -12. Most lows are -12. This is only -11. And it's also very fast. This is 15 frames. Very, very fast for a low poke. Most low pokes are around 17, 18, but even 20 frames. This is only 15 frames, which is very fast. But that's it for pokes. I would say then we can talk about pressure tools. I mean, pressure tool, it's basically his back 1. He uses both as an approach tool and up close to pressure the opponent. Still, again, I talked about this move. It's a counter launcher. It's very fast and it's +4 on block. Then we could talk about this tracking. 1+2 is one of the best homing tools in the game. It has 2 variations. Mid-mid, as you can see, which is a natural. And it can actually be delayed, so this can be pretty easily Twitch confirmed. But it also has a high extension, as you can see, which is, if I remember correctly, it's only -1. Yeah, it's only -1. But the interesting thing is that even if it does just the 1+2 and you block it, the move it's -7 on block. But you never know if you can take your turn after he does this move, because if you dare to press a button and he does the mid extension, I think you already know what's happening here. It's a counter launcher, so you never know if you can press a button when he does 1+2 on its own. So when he does this, you just freeze, because you never know if you can take your turn or not. If this lands on counter it, If the second hit lands on counter hit, you die. And then we could mention 443, which is a very fast homing attack. On hit, it gives a guaranteed soccer kick on the ground. Boom. Can I get a soccer kick? There you go. You get a guaranteed soccer kick. Then again, he also has down forward 4, but it's a little bit more niche. As a homing, it's a bit slow, but it gives you a big reward on hit. Again, this gives you a guaranteed soccer kick on the ground. It's a bit harder to do. You see, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that later. But that's it for homings. He has some of the best homing tools in the game, to be honest. Let's talk about 50-50s. He has a safe mid launcher in up forward 4. This is also quite evasive because it's a jumping attack, so this will evade all lows and generic special lows. Now they're called special lows. I'm referring to down jabs. Now are called special lows. They used to be called special mids. Now special mid is something different. So special lows. It will evade all lows. And it's pretty fast. This is actually faster than Kazuya's 443. Unless you buffer the first part of the animation during the recovery of an attack. This is actually very fast, I promise you. This is very downplayed in terms of speed. Only -5 on block. Only -5 on block. This is pretty good. As low option, he mainly has his soccer kick. Sorry, not soccer kick, it's hatchet kick, sorry. Soccer kick is this. It's hatchet kick, which is really good. It tracks to his weak side, which is sidestep right. You see? It almost tracks completely to his weak side. And of course, you can also use homings to keep you in check. And if you try to sidestep to the other side, you try to be smart and you say, oh, I'm gonna sidestep towards the left to evade the hatchet kick. Good luck evading soccer kick. Good luck evading soccer kick. Because soccer kick tracks to that side. So yeah, you're in a pretty disgusting blender when he starts to throw hatchet kicks. And again, if you try to duck to block the hatchet kick, like this, yeah, it doesn't. Wait, maybe I need to select crouch block, otherwise he doesn't block. Like this, he has a mid launcher, so you can't really do that safely. Otherwise, you're gonna get destroyed. It's really hard to duck against Bryan, but mainly because of that, because of the safe mid launcher. But that's it for 50-50. We're gonna talk about Oki. It's gonna be very quick. He has soccer kick as a ground hitting mid. This will hit the opponent on the grass, laying on the ground. Wait, that's the player status. Opponent status. Boop. It will hit the opponent laying on the ground from any angle. It does a pretty chunky damage, 18. This sparks on hit, and if the opponent stands up incorrectly, this launches on regular hit. If the opponent stands up incorrectly, this will launch. Pop, pop. Yeah, this will launch. Yeah, an absolutely disgusting Oki tool. But this is, of course, punishable on block, but not even that much. This is -12. Generally, like a character like Shaheen, for example, which has a Demon Steel pedal, which is much less rewarding on hit than soccer kick, it's -15. This is only -12. This is actually very, very good. And then we're gonna talk about wall pressure. Bryan has actually disgusting damage. For this, though, I need to remove the switch position. Otherwise, I can't show you this. Bryan has absolutely disgusting wall damage. And some great options. Of course, he has his Demon Paw. If he wants to score a... a quick wall splat. His damage is absolutely insane. Yeah, 80 damage. He also has 4 for 2, which is faster, 13 frames, does even more damage. It's a high though, 81 damage. Again, he has a guard break from, as you know, his taunt. I'm not great with the taunt, so I'm not going to show you advanced stuff, but if you don't want to put effort in learning how to taunt though, starting with Tekken 8, he received an easier guard break at the wall. I'm going to activate Heat. His extension for 3+4, 3+4, 2. He can do the whole thing immediately, which is unnatural. That wall splat, of course. Or he can delay it, and that will turn into a wall splat. A little bit like Vacuum Ram in Tekken 7. That will splat you. That will splat you. Which is, you know, it's really good, really good. And of course he also has his hatchet kick, force you to duck a little bit against him. But now let's move away from the wall. Let's talk about his combo damage. Sorry, his combos in general, which are really good. Let me remove Heat. His combos are really good. I promise, in terms of wall carry especially, he has great wall carry. This stage is not a small stage, I promise you. Not a lot of characters can get to the other side, even from the center of the stage. Not many characters can get to the other side. And this is not hard to do. This is not hard to do. 100, more than 100 damage. I want to show you the damage of Dragunov in the same conditions. I'm gonna do a 20 damage launcher here. $89. So Dragunov only does 89 damage compared to Bryan that does 101. And he has even more. That's not even max wall carry for Bryan. He can do way more than that. But his wall carry is really good. It's basically around 20 meters. That's basically the range. He can wall to wall on a 20-meter stage. By comparison, Dragunov is 22. So Bryan is 20 meters. Dragunov is 22. So insane combo damage, really good wall carry. And lastly, I think we're gonna mention punishments. He has 2 free as a 10 frame, pretty damaging. He has as a 12, he has 4 free, which is a bit underwhelming. It really reminds me of Dragunov's 4-1. Like this, but then he has a 14 frames launcher into Jet Upper. This now it can be a bit tricky to use as a block punish, but it's not that complicated. If you just take your time and you learn how to do this, this is not too complicated. You see, it says punish. This is not too complicated to do. I'm not gonna say it's super easy, but it's not that complicated. So he has a 14 frames launcher, and as well while standing punishments, he has while standing 4. As a 13 frames, he has a full crouch down for 2-1. As a 13 frames, pretty damaging, safe on block. It's a high though, can be ducked. And then as a 15 frames, he has while standing 1, pretty generic. If you want even more damage, he has Fisherman Punch. I don't know what's the name of that move. But if you want more damage, you can do that. But this is slower. This is 19 frames. Yeah, a very, very strong character and a very complete character. He has almost everything. The only thing he lacks is probably evasion, but aside from that, he has almost every single tool you will ever need. And this is the reason why I think Bryan is one of the best characters in the game, hands down. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care.